In this video, I am going to show you how to make this kind of effect in DaVinci Resolve. But if you want this effect that you can just drag and drop onto your image or clip and instantly fully customize it into something like this. Or this. Okay, so here we are on the edit page of DaVinci Resolve. I have this particular PNG over here. So let's just drag and drop it onto our timeline. You can use any image that you want. Now with our playhead over the composition, let's go to the Fusion page. To get the effect, it is very simple. Just make sure your media in node is selected. And now come over here and select this. It is blend. Then add it. At the moment, nothing happens. Now, let's increase the blend size. And we have something like this. Now, let's define the shape. Let's say you want it to be circle. So you have the blend node selected. Then come over here and click the ellipse. And it will mask it. And just like that, you have that effect over here. Or what you want might be rectangle. So you make sure the blend is selected, or if it's not selected, just grab your rectangle here and connect the output of the rectangle to the blue mask input of the blend, just like this. And now you have your shape. With the rectangle selected, you can come over here to the inspector and then adjust the controls. Let's say corner radius to something like this. You can also choose to increase or decrease your width or the height. It all depends on you. And in this case, we will just keep the default values. Now to add an outline, add a background node and then grab it and drop it here like this. And connect the output of the background to the output of the blend, and it will automatically add a merge node. Now, the background is covering everything. The reason is because the way we connect it here, the green is foreground, which means we are telling Fusion to place the background in front. So now, if you want, you can make sure this merge node is selected, and then if you are on Mac, Command and T, and that will switch them. But as you can see, if we do it this way, our background is now behind our image, because now this is what we have. We have everything over here as the foreground and the background as a background. Oh, and we are placing the background behind. So now if we decrease the size of this image, for example, if we bring in a transform node over here and we decrease the size, you will see our background there, just like that. If we change the color, you can see the background here. Yeah. In this case, that is not what we want. What we are doing, we need the background to be in front. So with the merge node selected, Command T to swap the inputs. Now that we have our background, we can now define the shape of the background using the same rectangle we used to define the shape of the effect. Now just select the rectangle, Command C to copy it. Come over here or anywhere that you want, and Command Shift V to paste an instance. Basically what the instance node means is it has all the properties of the original node. Now when we connect the output of the instance rectangle to the blue input of the background, we have the same shape as the effect. And now when we turn off this particular merge, you will see our effect is just below it like this. So now to make any changes to this instance without the change affecting the original parameters, what you can do is deinstance it. If we, for example, uncheck the solid, everything disappears because they are sharing the same properties. But if we want to make that change to only the instance node, we have to now right click the solid and select the instance. This way now when we uncheck the solid, we have that change affecting only the instance rectangle. And we also want to increase our border width. Now, if we increase it, this is what it is going to look like. To avoid that, we also have to de-instance it. And now, when we increase our border width, we have it like this. So now, let me zoom in. Have it like this. Now, you can increase or decrease the border width, but I like to make it very zero, so I will keep it like this. And change the color. Change the color, you come over here and select the background node and change it to any color of your choice. So in my case, I'm going with white, just like that. Now we have it like this. Yeah, let's decrease it to something like this so it becomes very zero, like this. Just like that, you now have that effect. If you want to control anything, you can just click over here to this rectangle and you will move everything together. You can move it anywhere and you still have everything intact. Can also make changes to this blur. Can decrease the blur size like this and you have this glass-like look. Now you have it like this. And basically that is how you can make this effect, and you can modify it to create all kinds of stuff that you want, like this on the screen. That if you don't want to be building this all the time and wasting time to do just something as simple as this, and always having to come over here to look for which control to change and all of that, I have built it for you to just drag and drop and instantly customize it to get the kind of look you want. Well, now if you want to turn this into a notification card with your rectangle controls, you can change the size to anything you want. So in this case, let's just say we make it something like this. And now you can add any image that you want. So in this case, to bring in the image, just right click anywhere on the media pool and go to import media. So you can just go to where the image is, then drag and drop it here. Let's say we want this particular image. Just like that, we have our image here. And let's drag and drop it here to the node 3 area like this. Let's collapse it so we have enough room to work with. Now with the image selected, connect the output of the media in node, which is the image, to the output of the merge, just like this, and you will have another merge and it is connected. Now, for you to decrease the size of the image, you can use this merge to decrease or increase the size, or move it left and right or up and down. That all depends on you. But I prefer the transform node. So we just add the transform here and it will give you the same result. So now, let's say you want the image to be a circle. That is the profile. It will be depending on the kind of platform you want the notification to come from. If it's email, for example, it will be a rectangle. But from other people, maybe WhatsApp, sometimes it can be something like circle or anything that you want. So in this case, let's say we want it to be a circle. So we use this particular ellipse, and just like we did with the rectangle, we connect the output of the ellipse to the blue mask input of the image, and now we have the image like a circle. With this transform, we can increase the size or decrease it and position it anywhere that we want, just like this. Now, with this, say you want to add some text. Let's put this here for Navurum. Just grab your text here and connect the output to the merged output. You have it like this. Type anything you want. Let's say this part is going to be the name. So then in the inspector, and just type the name of the sender. In this case, let's say Glory Assets, and customize it to your liking. In my case, something like this. And the part where the notification will appear, it could be the message or whatever it is. So let's bring another text node, connect it again, and type whatever you want and customize it to your liking. And as you can see, the problem here is as you are writing, the text is moving. So to avoid that, come over here and set the H anchor to left like this. And now if you type anything, it won't move to the left anymore, just like this. So now to get it back here, you can use this layout center controls, change it wherever you want. And as you can see, it is still outside. So what you can do is either come over here and break it into different sections, which will work. But for it to adapt to a particular area, come over here to the layout and set the type to text box. And now there is a problem, it moves away. But don't worry, you can use these particular center controls to bring it back on track, just like this. Now you have this wrap check. Now with the text selected, you have this on-screen handle. You can use it, and as you adjust it, the text will automatically adjust. And you can just use this center controls to position it just the way you want it. And now no matter how long you type, it will always be inside the area defined by this particular rectangle handle or whatever the shape you have customized it to be. Just like this. And the problem you run into is as you type, you have to now come back and adjust the position and even the position of the rectangle, all of that. Like this. Then come over here to your rectangle. It could be any of them. And adjust the height or the width depending on how long your text is. And the text again. Every minute you spend building this effect, tweaking and fixing small details can be spent simply dragging and dropping it onto your footage and customizing it to your style. Stop wasting time and missing your upload schedule and start creating premium looking edits with less effort and time spent. Explore the Glory asset today and start elevating your content. If I were you, I would grab it now so you can get all future updates for free without paying anything extra. And now for the time, you bring in another one and you connect it just like we did earlier, typing maybe 7 minutes ago. Customize it to your liking. You can play with it to make the kind of changes you want until you get the kind of look that you want. You can also go to the blur and either increase or decrease it, just like this. And just like that, you have made this effect. You can turn it into anything that you want. But the challenge is if you export this as a macro and you are using it on the edit page, you won't be able to animate the center X and Y on the edit page. As of now, the public beta of Resolve 21 doesn't support that feature. But in the Glory notification card, I have included that so that you have the option to animate it with all kinds of professional smooth animations without any struggles. Speaking of the Glory notification card, now let's take a look at how it works. Okay, so now that we have this, when you go back to the edit page, you'll see it there just as we built it in the Fusion page. Now let me show you the one you can simply drag and drop onto your image and quickly customize it to get the kind of look you want. Since we are working with this image, let's get it back. Let's say over here, we get that image and we work with it. So now we have it on our timeline. Come over here to this effects tab. Now you can either go to effect, then go to Glory Suite. And under that, you can find Glory Effects. Or simply make sure you have this all folders checked and just type Glory notification card or just notification card. And just like that, you have it over here. Now you can just drag and drop it onto the image like this and it disappears. What's wrong? Don't panic. All you have to do is come over here to this particular image and upload any image that you have. It could be anything, maybe this. Then once you click, it will ask you this. Just click no, and just like that, you have it over here. We'll talk about the image customization later. And now here are a few things you can do. And before we get into that, I have this other background over here, which I use for one of my thumbnails. You can check the video out in the description below. So now, when we also have this, it's the same process. Come over here, to drag and drop it on it, and it disappears. You just have to come over here to image, upload any image that you have. In this case, let's say something like this. And once you click no, it would appear just like this. And again, we will talk about the image customization later. Okay, now let's get rid of this and come over here. Now that it is like this, once you play, it will animate from top to the center by default. We will talk about the animation later. I recommend using an adjustment grid so that it becomes easier for you to just make copies if you need to make different changes and change it to something you like. We will talk about that later. Yes, a lot of things will be said later. Thank you for your patience. We will definitely go through that in few minutes. Okay, so now that we are here, let's zoom in. So now we have something like this. Now you come over here to the effects tab. Under the card shape here, you can either enable or disable it. That depends on what you are going for. This will help you to adjust the size and the controls like this here, like this, and define the shape you want, how you want it to look. This is for the corner radius or the roundness. And when you come over here to this shape, if you enable this, you can then add a color, and you can either change the color or make it anything that you are interested in. Like this, it all depends on you. In this case, we just keep it like this and disable this for now. And now you have this card. That this card, you can adjust the transparency and you give it some look. It could be like this or like this or anything that you want. Can combine different kind of stuff. Maybe this enabled. You may also choose to enable this. Now you have something like this. If you increase the transparency, then you have a different look. If you decrease it to, it now becomes a solid color, which you can still customize to get any kind of stuff that you want. The blend also controls the transparency. And that out of the way, let's disable the color. And now over here is the outline. Can either increase it or decrease it. It depends on the kind of look you are going with. You can change the color of the outline with this. With this hide card, it will make more sense later when we are talking about the animations. So keep that in mind. Now over here, text. You have all of these text over here. The top text is this particular one. That will be the name of the sender of the message or whatever it is. So you can either keep it or disable it. It depends on you. You can start typing anything, whatever it is that you want. Yeah. And same thing here. This is the notification field. Here you are going to type whatever it is that you want. You can also enable or disable it. I am blessed by God. His love never fails. And if you want to adjust how the text look, with this, you can position it wherever you want, up or down, however you want it to be positioned. And the size, just as you use your text. Yeah. Here you can also change the color or whatever it is you want with it. And here is what you might use. For example, this will help you define the area you want the text to occupy. So for example, when you have this and you come over here and enable fusion overlay, you have this particular thing. You can use the on-screen handles to control where you want the text to be, and it will not go beyond this particular box. Anytime it gets here, it will then wrap up. just like that. Okay, now moving forward, the timing is the same. You can also enable or disable and write whatever you want. It could be Sunday 7 p.m. Position it wherever you want and get the kind of look you want. Okay, now this part is the image. With the image here, you can also enable or disable it. So you see the potential. Once you disable all of this, you see the imaginations can do all kind of things with it. With the image, this control will help you adjust where exactly you want the image to be focused on. But you come to the image shape, either you want it to be a circle or rectangle, you choose from here. Now, let's say we want to focus on his head and we want it as a circle. So that will be the profile picture. With this, we can now select the part of the image we want, just like this. And then with this transform, you can either increase or decrease it without affecting the look. Just like this, we increase it and then we position it, let's say here. Let's decrease the size like this, and you can position it wherever you want, just like this. And now you can also choose to make it a rectangle. To make it a rectangle, turn off the ellipse like this, and now you can see the image. When we decrease the size, you can see the whole picture like this. And now turn on the rectangle and it will adjust automatically like this. But you can now control it with these rectangle controls. You can make it whatever you want, like this or that. Maybe you don't want to show the letters. Then you get something like this. You can increase the size over here too. And now just like that, you have it like this. Just as before, you can also use these center controls. Also control it to get the kind of look you want. You see, we're already covering most of the things we said we will talk about later. Like roundness, it all depends on what you are going for. Yeah, now you have something like this. Okay. And let's talk about the animations. The better view, let's now zoom out. And by the way, I forgot to mention that you can also change the text font and other stuff. Yeah, so that is something you can equally do. Okay, so now that we've zoomed out, and by the way, this global size, you can use that to increase everything or decrease everything at once. Just like this. And with that, let's now talk about the animation. When it comes to this animation, here's something you have to keep in mind. As I said earlier, by default, top to center. Now, when you come over here, select animation direction. When you switch to horizontal, it will now change. Instead of top to down, it's now going to give you left to right, like this. Make sure when you set this to vertical, we'll be using these controls. Yeah, this will be fixed. Don't worry about that. Under the top to bottom. Well, for example, now when you click go to start, the playhead will jump to the start of the animation. And now when you play, you have it like this. And whatever we'll be discussing here also applies to this particular horizontal. So now when you go to end, the playhead will jump to the end of the animation. So you can place your playhead anywhere that you want. Let's say here, and now you can say set start. And just like that, you see, it will register the start time. And you can go to wherever you want the animation to end, maybe here, and say set end. And look at what will happen to the end time. Set end, and it will register the end time. And now when you place your playhead here at the start of your camp and you play, the animation won't start until it gets to that point before it starts, and it will end at the end point that you set. Okay, so let's say you want it to start here, but you don't want it to start all the way from there. And you are going to use these controls. In the start position you've set. Now with this start, you can now move it to see the effect. And now you can position it wherever it is you want. Let's say you want it to start here. And now go to the end. and position it wherever it is you want it to end. Let's say here. Now when you go to start and you play, it will start from there and end at where you want it to end. But if you want to hide it, since it is a notification, you don't want it to be on the screen all the time. If you want to hide it, let's say you come over here to go to start. Now that you are here, what you can do is you can hide it. That's where this hide controls come in. Hide card. And now you can use any of these controls to hide it. So for example, this, and you can see it has wiped out. You see that? Then wipes out like this. And so we are saying at this point we don't want to see it. Now when you play, you see it will be coming from that particular point, hidden. And now but as you can see, the edge is very sharp, so you can use this soft edge to make it a bit softer. And just make sure the soft edge is not too much, just something just enough to cover it up. Now before the animation plays, it will not be visible until it starts to play, and it will come out just like this. So that is what the hide is for. You can also use it either for the center, whichever way you want it, whichever direction. It's all up to you. And that is basically what it is for. Okay, and now you can enable motion blur, increase the quality, but it's a resource intense. So I recommend you turn the motion blur on after everything. So now when you come over here, you can choose the animation. Here, if you set it to elastic and you play, you have it like this. If you set it to bounce, you get something like this. If you check this back, it will animate back to the original position at the end of your clip. So like this comes on, and at the end it will go back just like that. It's in the description. Try it out and let me know what you think about it. Now let's see how you can customize this to get some things like this that you see on the screen. With that, as earlier I was suggesting, we use an adjustment clip. So let's say in this case we want to use the adjustment clip. We can either disable this or just delete it. So now come over here to the effects tab and go to make sure this effect is selected. Then get your adjustment clip and drag and drop it here onto your timeline, just like this above your footage. And anything you apply to the adjustment clip will directly affect anything that is also below it. So now when we come over here and we drag and drop our notification card onto our adjustment clip like this, like before, the same thing will happen. Now let's go to the image and upload our image. Let's say this one, but we want our image to be rectangle. So we come over here, we turn off this particular ellipse, and then we enable and we adjust this to get the kind of look we want, like this. Okay, so now that we have uploaded our image, as always, the animation will always be like this. Let's see what we can do with this. So now let's disable all of these things. So we are going to disable this. Now let's disable this text. I just disabled all the text and even our image, but we needed to bring the image in so that we will have the effect. Without that, we cannot use it. So now we are set to go. So let's say with this, you can now customize this into something, shape it into anything you want. It's something like this. And now with this color, you can now give it a color, any color that you want. You can play with it to get the kind of look that you are happy with. Okay, or disable it and come over here and play with this transparency. Now, just like that, you have something like this. Let's increase the outline. Now you have something like this glass-like look. You can do all kinds of stuff with this. Another thing you can also do with this is let's enable the color. Let's say this, we enable, then we decrease the alpha. Give us something like this. little dark look. You can play with these RGB, the red, green, and blue colors. Get something unique that you want, something that you can do to stand out. Now you see, the possibilities are endless. And if you don't want it to, you can just disable it and you have something like this. And let's say the transparency, we bring it up just a little bit like this. And now what you can do is come over here, select your adjustment clip, hold down the Alt key on Windows and drag it, and you have just made the exact copy. So now what you can do with this, let's place it above this one just like this. And now this one, you can customize it to a different shape just like that. You already have something like this. Now when you play, you can add some text. If you have some particular text that you really like, you can add all of that. And yeah, another thing you can do is you can say, okay, I want this one to come in later, and then like this. And yeah, or change the animation of this particular one. And now here the animation, you can say we want this one to be from left to right, and we have it like this, but we don't want it to be visible here. So we are going to now use the hide. So now let's enable this. Come over here, make sure you have the show turned on now, so we can just place it here just like this. And when you play, you will not see it until here, and it just comes like this. Come on, man, tell me you will like this. See that? You can do all kinds of stuff with this. Maybe you can even give this one some color. But if you decide to change the color with the hide on, there is something you have to pay attention to, which I'm going to discuss now. So let's say we enable color for this particular one, and we change the color to, let's say, white or whatever it is you want. And we increase the transparency here, and we get something like this, a different look. Now look at what will happen even with the hide on. While it's animating, you can still see the color. The hide doesn't hide the color. So what you can do is come over here to the color and keyframe it. So here is the color, the enable and disable. So you can see here our rectangle is fully where we want it to be. Here you can keep it enabled and set a keyframe. But anytime the rectangle is outside, you then disable it. This way you have it like this. And now just like that, you have something like this. While recording this, I just went back and updated the hide controls. So now there is no need to set any keyframes to hide the color. Now it's just the same process. You just have to do it the same way you would. At this time, it will just take care of everything automatically. Let's say we have something like this just for this demonstration. So now when we go back and hide, see, it takes care of everything. If you want to know the different ways of making animations in DaVinci Resolve with different methods without wasting time using one method which is not getting you a result, while there is a different method that can give you the same result in just a few seconds, then watch this video next.